Good afternoon, teachers. I wanted to just show you how to listen to the students' recordings so that you can have those one-to-one conferences with the students and you can listen to how well they're doing. So I'm going to go real quickly and use one teacher as an example. Ms. Alcala, I'm going to use you as an example. Once you go into your TELPAS Summit K-12, you're going to go into your listening and speaking. And you're able to see all of this, right? It seems that most teachers have been doing a lot of the basics. Remember, this is really, really important. The differentiated practice is only practice. It shows students the 6 steps on how to answer the question. Basically, scripting, putting it together, answering the different types of questions. So this is just practice. It's not the real speaking items. The real speaking items are found under the TELPAS readiness. When you click on listening, a lot of the students have done the listening. Very few students have done the speaking. In looking at the reports, this is the one that they need to be clicking on, and this is the one that they need to be practicing. So this is the one that needs to be assigned to them. However, once they take PLP number 3, that's going to happen on its own. They're going to have their own pathway. But you do need to ensure that this is the one that they're working on. So when you click on speaking and you're able to see the different types of the different types of activities that are there, you're going to go back and you're going to go to benchmarks and PLPs, right? This is the progress report that I have attached to the Google Drive, the one that you're looking at, so that you can see their progress. When you click on this, you're going to go to PLP number 2, because this is the last one that they took. And let me give you an example. We're going to go to the student. So this is the PLP sample questions, right? And these are the ones that you need to see how the student scored. So we're going to go back. You're going to go to each student. So let me go back to that. You're going to go to listening and speaking. Sorry, I went the opposite way. You have to go, this is assigning it. You have to go to reports. So when you go to reports, you're going to go to listening and speaking progress. When you go to listening and speaking progress, this is where I downloaded your report. Now, let me go to a certain student. I'm going to go to Chanel Garcia, for example, and I'm going to click on her test, right? So we're going to click on Chanel Garcia. And you're going to click here on the speaking part of PLP number 2, which is a 1.87. So as you can see, she regressed from PLP number 1 to PLP number 2. We need to see why. So when you click on the speaking, from listening and speaking, she regressed. However, she didn't take PLP number 1. So when you click on that student and you click on the actual score, remember, we're looking at the speaking, you're going to be able to listen to their responses. So these are all listening items. It's not until you get to the story, for example, this one, that you're able to listen to the student. So if you click on play,
that the girl was in the bike and she have a dog in her face.
So you're able to listen to their responses. That conferencing is critical because they need to know how to use the rubric to understand how to get a higher score. Now, it gives you here notes on why it was scored a 1.8. If you look at the rubric, and you look at what is a beginner and intermediate, you'll know that she was at an intermediate. So you need to understand, they need to understand how to get to a higher score. But this is where you listen to their answers.
Writing in the board.
Is she answering the question? Where are the children and what are they doing? Look at the two pictures. When you're ready, record your answers. First, describe at least two similarities, then describe at least two differences.
The same on the sports is the playing sports, the two pictures, and their
So, in listening to the students, you're able to tell them you need to speak louder, you need to speak clearer, you need to read your script, you need to do the script using the 4-quadrant that we went over with Ms. Blanca Villarreal when we had that training with her. So, it's really, really important that we go into this report, the listening and progress report. So, I'm going to go back one more time to show you how I got here. You're going to go into reports, listening and speaking progress. You're going to click on a student. Some students did the pretest and some students did POP number 2. Some didn't. As you can see, this student has all of both of them. So you want them to progress from POP 1 to POP 2. POP 1 to POP 2. In this case, the student regressed on both. So you're going to click again on the speaking. Well, you also want to look at the listening, but we're focusing on the speaking. You're going to click on POP number 2 on speaking, and that is what will take you to the students' responses to listen to them and so that you're able to conference with them. This conferencing is critical so that the students understand what they need to work on. So last but not least, wherever you see instructional resources at the bottom, you're able to click in there, and this is also where you can find the rubric. The students really, really need to understand the rubric. If you click on here, you're able to see rubrics, and the student is able to see what does it take to go from a 3 to a 4. And so please remind them about the Spanish, about being insightful, using academic language, but definitely answering all parts of the questions. So I'm going to go over this again with you guys during a CLC on Wednesday, but I wanted to give you a heads up so that you can begin as soon as you see your students again on working on these very important practices. Thank you all.